Hi everyone, it's Michelle here at Serendipity House. I'm so excited. I have a project. It is one of my most favorite techniques and I haven't done it in a few months, so I'm pretty excited to do it with you guys. We're going to be doing some Cerused oak, otherwise known as liming. And say hello when you come on. Let me find myself because last week I went live on the wrong page and that was kind of embarrassing. I'm going to take you through the whole process. I'll tell you what I've done to prep, but all I've really done is sand and get my surface clean. So, alrighty, here we are. Okay, so I have this, I'm going to bring you guys down nice and close in a minute, but I've got this nice oak table, kind of ugly. We have so much oak here in New England, and oftentimes it's that kind of orangey color, and it just is not popular and it's not pretty, but when you Ceruse it, it is amazing, and it's not as hard to do as you think. I'm going to be using all DIY paint products. Hi Rhonda. And all right, so here's what I've done already. I have taken the top coat of whatever was on this table. I sanded it. It was taking too long. Then I used a little stripper and I sanded it again. Lots of sanding. 60 grit, 120, and then finally 220. And I made sure to, all the dust and debris and everything is off of it. So today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to open the grain up, and then we're going to kind of stain it with some paint and water and just wait a few minutes. And then I'm going to be using white wax to whiten and fill the grain. And it's such a huge difference. All right, here we go. Hi Trilby. I'm going to point you guys down because I really want you to see the magic of the table. Okay. So I'm wearing gloves. I just want to not be getting my fingers stained, and just so I kind of know what I'm touching here. Here's what you're going to need. So table's all clean. It looks kind of uneven right now, but I think that's because, you know, this isn't one board. This is a few boards pieced together on the table. So the grain even is going in a couple different directions, which is going to look really cool. And we're going to start with, this is an important thing to have. This is a wire brush, and this is what we're going to use to open up the grain. Okay, so this will not scratch as long as you're going in the direction of the wood grain. Okay, so you don't want to go this way because you're going to scratch your wood. When I first did this, I was pretty scared because I was convinced that even this was going to scratch the wood, but it actually doesn't. It opens the grain up. Let's see, I'm going to pull it all the way across. I'm pressing pretty hard. I have to tell you that I already have sore arms and lower back just from all the sanding I've done. It's crazy. I'm sorry if this sounds awful. I want to make sure to get my edge here too. I am going to be painting the lower half of this tomorrow on the DIY paint page at 11 o'clock. And I don't know what color I'm going to paint it. We're going to wait and see how the top comes out. So I'm just going with the grain. We're going to have to clean this off. Okay. I'm going to wipe it with a towel, and then I'm going to grab a tack cloth because this lifted a lot of dirt. Not dirt, wood. It looks like dirt when you're always cleaning, doesn't it? All right, let me grab a tack cloth. These things I hate because they always seem to keep me sticky after the fact, but they are important. Hi, Tammy and Teresa and Ruth and Patty and Lori. Welcome. Hi, Jean. All right, so this is just a tack cloth, and this picks up any of the sawdust that you missed. You don't want any of that in the wood. Have any of you ever done this process before? There are a few different ways to do it. All right, I'm gonna say that's good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, this is where this could differ a little bit. You could use different kinds of dye. You could actually, if you wanted to fill the grain right now the way it is, you could go ahead and put in a black wax and fill the grain with black wax, white wax, whatever. Any color you want. I want to change the color of the underneath wood because when this is wet, it's going to turn orange because of the kind of wood it is. I don't like orange. I'm going to make the background a stain with Bohemian Blue, which is a DIY paint color. The pigmentation is great. I'm using what I have. It's all natural. You can use a stain. If you use a stain, I would use a water-based stain, and you should give it some time to dry in between. We're going to go ahead and not give this a lot of time to dry. I've done it before and it hasn't made a difference. So this is just watered down paint, but you have to have a paint that is, you know, it has a lot of color in it. I've never used this particular color, so I'm not sure how it's going to come out. So I am just going to put this on, and we're going to let this soak in for a few minutes. After I've got it on, I'll look to see if there's any questions. So a lot of people at this point would use like a black stain. I've done a gray stain and it looks fabulous. I think I put that in my picture. I've done it with different like colored stains. I've used unicorn spit with this. The ones that are like really highly pigmented, I think is done with something called an aniline dye. And the direction, I actually have one of those, but the directions on it are a little daunting and more time consuming. Not something I would do a live on since I haven't tried it before and it takes more time. All right, so I just want this to soak into my raw wood. This is not the grain filling part, this is going to be kind of the background part. Trying to work fast here. I hadn't thought about what color, what this might look like given the combination of it with the oak. So hopefully the orange shade and this blue is not going to be like muddy brown. If it is, we'll work with it. I just didn't want it to look orange. Hi Kelly, hi Cheryl. I'm just seeing names. I'm not stopping to read right this minute. You have any questions, then go ahead and ask. Sprinkle the love if you would. I would always love. I'm trying to reach 10,000 on my page and I think I've got like 9,300 now. I'm getting up there. It's been a slow climb for 5 years. All right, so you know, I can see spots over here already that are drying, so it is soaking right in. Again, we're going for a stain, not a paint look here. We're going to give it a few minutes and then we're going to wipe it off and then fill the grain. Then you guys can give me your input on what you want the, what color the table should be. I thought I would do the top first and then match the make the bottom something complementary. All right, so let's let that soak in. Hopefully it won't repel anywhere. I sanded a lot. Hopefully I got all of the old finish up. Actually, I can see it's going to look kind of green, but it is soaking in and it is staining the wood. I'm pretty excited for the next part. All right, let me move these things away, grab my rags. I'm just using lint-free shop cloths. And then we're going to be using the DIY white wax. See if you guys have any. It looks kind of like a big mess on the screen. Hi, Allison. I see lots of oh, let's see. It's too far away, honestly, for me to read the questions. I missed the start. Was this already raw wood? Yes, Janice, it was raw wood. It was sanded down with 60, 150, I think, and then 220. And then, I don't know if you caught the wire brush part, I went over it with the wire brush in the direction of the grain to open up the grain. Now, I have done this also with using a lot of water, like spraying a lot of water on it. I think the one in the picture that's kind of a bluish with the white. When I first learned, it was like using a lot of water to open up your grain, and I also put wax right over that to fill it in, and it worked perfectly fine. I think the only issue and when you have to let it sit is more if you're using a stain. All right, so I'm not worried about, you know, sometimes I tend to overthink and I think about, oh, you can't wax if something is wet. It actually works okay with this technique, as long as I'm using water-based. All right, so that is definitely soaked in. So that stains my wood. I do not have to wait for this to dry, though. That's why I was saying that. Now I'm going to go in the direction I was trying to get it off the edges. Just going to get up. I would like it to be extra wiped off and somewhat dry, though, because I don't want the wax to be muddling with the paint and not be white. But I can tell you already, this is much better contrast with the white than the orange could ever be. All right, so there's just a little bit coming up now. And I can kind of actually feel the grain raised. So we're almost ready for the magic. Now, if you weren't in any rush, you could do this part and then walk away and leave it for a few hours. You probably should, actually, because I'm, like I said, hoping that it's not going to mix. All right. Here we go. Now you can use a lint-free cloth, you can use cheesecloth, you could use a wax brush, you can use steel wool. This is the 00 steel wool synthetic. I'm using the DIY white wax. There's different kinds of liming waxes. This one's natural. It works just as well. The only difference is it takes a little longer to dry. And I like it because it doesn't stink. Okay, here we go. I am piling it on. I am rubbing it right into the grain. This is not going to dry on me. So you're filling up every single open pore and the grain when you're doing this. Ooh, I can see it because you can see the little kind of dots where the grain, where the pores are open, and it's filling those up. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever painted oak cabinets, but you also see that the grain and some a lot of wood, like oak cabinetry, especially in ash, you get the raised grain. And you can see it right through the paint if you don't fill it. Now, when I've used, in the past, I've used brie wax, which is really stinky. You have to do it in sections because it dries really fast. I don't use the chemical stuff anymore. This works just as well, and it has a nice long open time because it doesn't have any solvents and chemicals in it. Not sure what's going to happen on the ends. I did sand them, but all right. The only thing I could see happening is that kind of blending in with the paint. Let's let that sit a second. Anybody have any questions? Says there are a bunch of people watching with me. That's new. Facebook keeps changing their notifications. All right, now I think what I'm going to do is wipe it with my, boy, now I'm making a mess. Now I know why my gloves are on. Wipe it with that. This is just pushing it down a little bit more, the steel wool, before I this does not scratch. Okay, so it's pushing it right into the groove. You can start to see the grain popping. And I won't buff this until tomorrow, but I know that it's going to have an amazing shine when it buffs. I'm not buffing it till tomorrow because of this particular wax needs some time to dry. But when I do, there will be more contrast because it will pick up some of the wax that's sitting on top and leave the wax that is sitting in the grain. So that's a mess. Alrighty. You see it? What do you think? Wow. Okay, it looks pretty cool on camera. It looks different when I'm sitting right in it. Now, if you want more of a contrast, then really all you have to do, well, you use a darker color or you use a stain. And then your white will be more contrasting. So what I'm going to do with this is wait a little bit. Actually, I'll wait a couple hours. I'll buff it, and then I'll apply one more coat of wax. See how it mixed? It's not coming up white because it kind of mixed with the paint. So we're going to let that sit. What do you think? I don't know how long that took me. The sanding took a while, I can tell you that. But this is pretty easy, and you can make as much contrast as you want, just depending on your first steps. I like it. I think with another coat of wax, and much better than orange, right? I don't know if you saw the before picture. So, do we like? That was so fast. Any questions, you guys? Any questions? I have to decide. So can you see the front of this? Look at the, I have to show you what it looked like. See the front? That's what the top looked like. So I have to, I'm going to paint the body of this tomorrow to match that. So I'm going to finish it up today. So if you guys watch me tomorrow at 11 on the DIY paint page, the top will be finished. We're going to choose a color for the bottom. That is so much 100% better. And 17 minutes, that's what it took to do that process. Now, like I said, I would suggest maybe leaving some time for your paint to, or your stain to dry, and you won't get as much muddling of the color. Hi, Jerry. Yes, it's much better, Teresa, so much better. I was really scared when I first tried this technique because I thought for sure I was going to be scratching the wood, but it doesn't matter. I did overthink this the first few times. As long as you go in the direction of the grain, it doesn't matter which direction you go in, like right to left or left to right, I mean, because the boards that are on there, they're in two different directions anyways, so it doesn't matter if you're going into the grain or out of it. Yes, it's also called pickling, liming, pickling, cerusing. It's from the 16th century, and they used to do it. I think it was a lead that they would, a white lead. It was in cosmetics, and then they started using it to preserve beams and very poisonous powder on your face, a white something. Anyways, we all live longer now, so we won't be putting that on our faces or the wax. Yes, I'm loving it. All right, I appreciate you guys watching. Share this if you would. Let me know if you try it. I would love to see your pictures of you guys trying it, especially with the DIY products, because they're all non-toxic and it was quick and easy, done inside, no smell. And I sell these products on my website, serendipity.house. All right, catch me tomorrow, you guys, on the DIY paint page at 11 to work on this table a little more, and then at 1 o'clock on the IOD page. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.